All right. So I'm gonna do a quick session on some techniques that would actually improve your breathing tenfold. Okay. So a lot of us, and there's a really good book out there. If you haven't read it and you're interested in this space, I highly recommend it. It's called Breath by James Nestor. Really good, solid book. Anyway, so some of these learnings I've gotten from them and studying other techniques, pranayama and other modalities. But a couple quick ones. So number one is shut your mouth. No, I'm not saying be quiet, but like many of us breathe through our mouth, right? And so the number one issue around breath and inefficiency is many people breathe through their mouth rather than their nose. So the analogy is like your nose is like a filter, right? So a car filter, if there's no filter, can you imagine the amount of dust stuff in your car in your house that gets circulated? So think of your nose as your filter for your breath, right? So it takes out and it also, other than outside a filter, it actually does a better job of saturating it, getting it into your bloodstream, et cetera, where your mouth just kind of takes it into your lungs, right? So I'm not gonna get into the full science behind it, but really, it's have your mouth be like shut and breathe through your nose. This is a $5 or so um, mouth tape. I'm not. It's not even mouth tape. It's. I use it for mouth tape, but it's more like I think it's like medicinal tape or whatever, right? So I usually just take a strip off of this 3M tape, but it's not like the ones that like take your skin off. So I just take a strip like that. Well, not like that. I just take bigger strip, and just kind of cover my mouth when I'm going to sleep, like so. So, I mean, not 100% effective. There's better products out there, but the point is to get in a habit of breathing through your nose. And what we're really not conscious is when we sleep. So I've caught myself many times when I wake up, or I'm about to wake up, or when I just woke up, I'm breathing through my mouth, right? So it's really to create a practice when we're asleep and when we're awake to breathe through our nose rather than our mouth. So that's number one, big one. Number two is how we breathe through our body, right? So many people, if you do a test right now, you take one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and just breathe naturally, right? Inhale, exhale. So what you'll notice is one hand is probably getting lifted before the other. Ideally, it's the hand that's on your belly, right? So what happens when you breathe in, what should happen when you breathe in, is your belly should expand, right? Your belly should expand. And then that essentially, then you inhale first through your belly and your side bodies, and then your chest, right? And not through your throat. So I'm going to get into a lot of this technique later. But the key difference is many people, they breathe through their chest, right? I notice as well that myself, when I'm in a nervous situation, someone cuts me off, I'll start either breathing through my mouth or breathing through my chest. It's just a response to a stressful situation. So the second important point is breathe through your belly, like a full diaphragmatic breath. It's actually not through your belly; it's through your diaphragm, and you can feel your belly rise when you breathe, and your diaphragm kind of relaxes, and it kind of goes down, and your full kind of vacuum of your lungs, your lower lungs as well as your upper lungs get filled up, right? So number two is breathe through your lower body and through your diaphragmic breathing, engaging your belly rather than your chest. One way to do this is actually imagine that your nostrils are in your lower back and your lower root, and that will help you kind of bring your breath in all the way down rather than keep it kind of here, right? Okay, so that's number two. I would say there's about a few more. I'm going to hit them really quickly. One of them is chew your food. So there's a huge history around our jaw structure, and the food that we eat is very soft and doesn't need a lot of chewing. So the foods that we eat actually impact the strength of our jaw and our throat and all this whole system, right? So the foods that you choose, make sure you're using eat foods that you have to chew a lot. Chew all your foods. Don't just have drinks and smoothies all day. So, eat some tough foods that make you chew and build this, build this structure. Another thing that I would say is, and I've talked about this before, is the perfect breath. So the perfect breath, the studies have shown this, is actually 5.5 breaths, 5.5 breaths per minute, right? So 5.5 breaths per minute. It's like, you take 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds inhale, 5.5 seconds exhale. So if you, in an ideal world, to optimize our breath rate, we're doing 5.5 breaths per minute. That's the optimal count for efficiencies for breath. We don't always do that. You can kind of change your inhales and exhales. We don't always breathe the same amount in length in terms of inhale and exhale, but it's something to keep in mind of. So bottom line is, many of us breathe very quickly. Like, I'm just kind of doing it loud so you can hear. But the idea is to slow down your breath to a point closer to 5 to 6 breaths per minute, so that you will get closer to that ideal rate, right? So that's, again, a practice over time that we want to enforce. All right.